In recruit school, I fell asleep in the lecture. It wasn't just a normal lecture. It was the assistant chief. The chief was lecturing, and I fell asleep. Am I boring? Am I too boring for you? I said, no, sir. He's like, why don't you stand up and go to the back of the classroom? And on the very next day, they had a bed right in front of the training tower, and everybody was running towers for an hour while I laid in bed because I was tired. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I'm a husband to the hottest wife out there. I'm a father of 3. These kids are my world after their mom. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a friend. And at the very end, I'm a firefighter. Just think about where you are, because who you are is going to drive what you do. And Chief Ike talks about that your purpose is what gets you up in the morning without an alarm clock. So he was a firefighter in Florida, and he was in for over 20 years. He was in task force. He had a good firehouse, and he loved what he did. And he got hurt. He broke his back lifting a patient. The doctor said, hey, you can't come back to work. He said, whatever. He said that he went to the office of his occupational health doctor and did 20 burpees. And the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, I can do burpees. That means I can go back to work. So he eventually goes back to work, works a few more years, has another injury, and then has to retire. He said that when he officially retired, that was hard for him, because the only thing he knew was being a fireman. Like, that's what he loved to do. That's what he wanted to do. And he said that when he retired, he lost his identity, he lost his purpose. He jokingly said that he became a trophy husband, became a stay-home dad, but he didn't know how to do that. So he said that he put a gun to his mouth and thought about pulling the trigger. But luckily, he didn't. And today he talks about mental health and his stories and his struggles, and he teaches on mental health. He's a huge advocate of understanding moral injury, and just to show that sometimes we just don't know what to do, and all we know how to do is be a fireman, that we lose ourselves. And Nate's not. I went to a peer support retreat, even though when I wasn't in crisis. And I was hesitant a little bit. I was like, well, I don't want to take somebody's spot, somebody who needs it. But I went anyways. And so I sat down during one of the breakdowns. We broke down into groups. So I spent a week away in California with these, it was police, firefighters. And the guy sat right next to me, and the first thing he said, I already wrote my note. If this week doesn't work, this is it. And to me that was eye-opening. And so that whole week, I sat next to that guy, and that guy changed his life. It wasn't just for me. Sometimes we go to these things for somebody else. And he sends me pictures of him on his boat on the sunset. He's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was a really good experience. Even though it wasn't for me, I was able to be there for somebody. And sometimes it's just us being available to people that can help somebody out. I wrote an article a while back for Fire Rescue One. It was titled "Choices Lead and Feelings Follow." But sometimes we just don't feel like it. Sometimes I don't feel like working out. Sometimes I don't feel like eating healthy. Sometimes I don't feel like doing a lot of things. But you just have to force yourself. You have to make a conscious choice to take that first step. And for me, when I fell out of love with the job, that was it. I had to look at the fire department through a different lens. I don't know if you guys know this, but you know that there's a whole fire service outside of this fire department? I didn't know that. I truly did not know. So I just thought that it was Prince William County and Fairfax County where I started volunteering, and this is it. And so it wasn't until I started taking classes, talking to other people, reaching out to other people, that there was a whole fire service out there. And that really refreshed my view of the fire service and what it really was. Because at the time, I just really hated my fire department. I hated the people in it. I hated what it had done to me. And so I was really bitter about the fire department, but I still loved the fire service. I still loved serving and helping people. So it kind of helped me look at it with fresh eyes. We think the grass is always greener somewhere else. It's like, man, if I was here at this firehouse, if I was with that crew, if I was doing this, it would be so much better. But we have to understand that the grass is greener, but the water bill is high. So are you going to go to that other firehouse? Are you going to go to that other fire department and just sit around the kitchen table and bitch and complain just like you do now? Because if you do, you're going to create brown stops on their perfect manicured lawn, and they're going to tell you to get out of the lawn. So remember, the grass is greener, but the water bill is high. You got to be able to put time and invest into what you're doing. Things that I love the most is we get to invest in people. You know, I love when a rookie comes to the firehouse, man. I love when there's new people joining the fire service, because it's an opportunity that we have to be able to be a positive influence in somebody. I have learned to enjoy. It wasn't always the case, but I believe that being fit for the job is a requirement. I had anaphylaxis on the left there. It's quite bloated. No, that was me. I was like 35, 40 pounds overweight. I was just, it was that time when I hated the job, that I was tired, that I was on a busy unit. Things just got in the way, and you know, I started making those good decisions. I started eating healthy, exercising, putting the first things first. You know, I try to exercise first thing when I come to work. It's usually the first thing I do. At home as well, I'll come home, put the kids on the bus, have breakfast, and head to the gym. The days that I feel like exercising, I do it because my life depends on it. On the days that I don't feel like exercise, I exercise because somebody else's life depends on it. So just think about that. When you don't feel like working out, you're letting somebody down. You're letting the citizens down. You're letting your brothers and sisters down. You're going to be a liability to your crew. And here's kind of how I have, you know, set up my family. God is over us, and then I'm over my wife and children, because I got to protect them, I got to lead them, and I got to provide for them. And my wife is the one who nurtures them, who teaches them, and comforts them. And all we ask of our children is for them to love us and obey us. And I think that Chief Bill Butler, he shared that this year. He said that the most important decision you'll make in your life is who you'll marry. And for those that are married here, you know that that's the most important decision that you make in your life, because that's who you're going to spend every day with. That's who is going to raise your children. That's who's going to help you walk through those tough roads like I have shared. But for us to have and raise healthy children, we have to have some things that are in place. We have to have a healthy home. The one thing that's very important is for us to understand is that once we have children, the children don't become a priority in our home. And that's something that I have failed at sometimes. I think my wife has failed at sometimes. We start just doing the kids and taking care of the kids and doing this with the kids, and we forgot about us. So kids, they are a blessing in a marriage, but they are not the priority of the marriage. They are not a completion of it. They are a byproduct of your marriage, but they should never be the center and the first thing in your marriage. I'm sure you can think about some friends or somebody that you know that once the kids were off the house and out of the house, they got a divorce because you just become roommates. You're sitting across the dinner table with your wife and you don't have anything to talk about because there's no more soccer, there's no more school plays, so now you're just two roommates. So make sure that you're dating your spouse. Make sure that you don't make your kids a priority. As a matter of fact, our kids kind of get upset when we go on our own vacation, because there are times that just my wife and I will choose to do our own thing because that's my girl, you know. So I gotta make sure that she's taken care of. So the next thing here is your extended family, right? This is something that was hard for me to know how to navigate. As a Latino families, they just hang out together all the time. They want to be together with you at all time, and for my parents, that was hard. This verse in the Bible says that, listen, when you get married, you become one with your spouse. You're no longer one with your mom and dad. You're not one with her mom and dad. As a matter of fact, you have a new family. Me and my wife. It's her family, and that's my family. At the end of the day, it's just me and her. And so we had to learn how to not include them in everything. When you don't do this well, you end up eating 2 Thanksgiving dinners. Sometimes you just have to cut off your parents. You have to, like, hey, mom, dad, listen, this is my wife, this is my husband. And once you set those boundaries with your family, you also have to set boundaries with your friends. It's okay for us to hang out with our friends when we're young and single, but once you get married, you have to balance that out. You can't hang out with the boys every Saturday night, because as much as we want to, we can't, not because we have to ask our spouse permission. Hey, can I hang out with the crew? But what you're really doing is you're taking time away from your spouse or your family that you're hanging out with somebody else. And it's not like you're asking permission. It's like, hey babe, can I go hang out with the guys? It's like, no. He's like, hey, are you willing to give up your time that we could be spending together for me to go spend some time with the crew? And it's okay. You're not asking the permission. I'm just honoring my wife with the time that she's given away. Seasons in friendship. When I'm stationed with people, I'm like their best buds. And then I get moved over to another station and we grow apart. And it's okay. When you're single and you're going out every night, you have those group of friends, but then you get married, you start hanging out with married people, and then when you have kids, you start hanging out with married kids. If you don't have kids, you hate hanging out with people with kids, right? Like it's a season, right? And it's okay. Sometimes we grow close together, sometimes we grow far apart. It wouldn't be a fire class if I didn't come up with an acronym, which is FIRE, right? I want to help people fall in love with the job again. I want us to invest in people. As we said, there's a couple younger guys here that invest in them, spend time with them, teach them. And sometimes we just have to reset, restart, and refocus. In a heartbeat, you're replaced. So I don't want to be remembered as a fireman. I want to be remembered as a good husband, a good father, a good friend. I want to be more than a firefighter at the end of the day. I think this is how you can get a hold of me. That QR code, you'll get all my links, site, Facebook, Instagram. I also have a podcast where I have conversations kind of like these that I had tonight.